So let's get in here and talk a little bit about music business here. So if you're an independent artist, what would be the first thing that an independent artist that's just starting out should?
Uh, I mean, the key thing is you want to really, I think before you go and dump a whole lot of money into like professionally producing and stuff, is build up your, like, social media is free,
Mhm.
right? You can build up your following, I guess. That's your foundation. Build your base, and get your set of organic fans. I mean, it's easy right now because everybody's online and
Yeah.
not going out. But build up your online base.
Mhm.
Do live streams, that kind of thing. And then you seem to have that organic following. And I use the word organic because you could pay to promote your stuff, but if you have an organic following, it pays for itself.
Yeah.
Um, and you don't need to invest a whole lot in social media. I mean, maybe, I mean, if you're going to do live streams, maybe invest in some gear so that the audio is good through the stream. But I know a lot of artists that just throw their iPad up, hit record, and start playing. You know what
You
I
know
mean?
what? For that fact,
Really,
actually, Apple products are apparent. They're really good at the recording concept of them. Like their microphones in them are pretty
yeah.
solid in them.
Oh, I agree. I mean, and most of the modern day devices. I mean, they put so much money
Mhm.
into the cameras and the microphones to make it so that I've seen photos from the new iPhone Pro, whatever, super duper X. I don't even know what they call it anymore. But they're
Platinum,
like
uranium,
incredible,
whatever.
these photos. I mean, and
Yeah.
if the microphone's anywhere near as good as yeah. So I mean, and
Mhm.
they're all like that. I mean, whether you're an Android user or an Apple user, if you've got the latest technology, you've got good technology, right?
Yeah.
Um, so that would be step number one. Build that up,
Mhm.
because in the end, once you start rolling, they're the ones that are going to be buying your music. They're the ones that are going to be streaming your music. Find groups. I mean, there's groups all over the internet to music across the country, across North America, across the world.
Yeah.
Tap into those and really take advantage of them, right? Because that's how you grow your base. It's a better time now than any to build that base.
Mhm.
Um, so that would be step number one. Once you've got that organic following, so when I say organic following, I mean, you go up, you post either a live stream or a pre-recorded, depending on your network capabilities.
Mhm.
Don't post a live stream of yourself if your network is like mine and gets really choppy very easily, because it comes out distorted and it's not the quality you want to present. So if you have to pre-record. But once you start getting regular likes, regular comments, regular shares, then start looking at, I mean, find a good producer. Um, there's lots of producers out there. Ask around. Um, find other artists that are doing things that are similar to you, that are kind of in the same wheelhouse, like the same, maybe not the same genre, because genres, especially in country music, is huge. But find other artists that you can kind of look up to for support, and say, oh, who are you using for a producer?
Yeah.
Get
Absolutely.
names and stuff that way. Um, Start working with a producer. A good producer, they're going to say, okay, maybe not. You want a producer that's not just going to say yes to everything you throw at
Yeah.
them. You want a producer that's going to be honest with you and say, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. I think you maybe need to do something like this, or you maybe need to change the tempo, or I think that maybe you should be doing a completely different genre altogether, or don't quit your day job.
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
that's what it comes down to, because there's let's be honest. I mean, I get a lot of music sent to me, and
Mhm.
out of that, it's gotten better. Actually, I have to say it's gotten better. I'm getting most of the stuff that's being sent to me now is really top quality. It wasn't always that way. There's a lot of stuff sent to me. It's like, really, don't quit your day job, um, but yeah, I mean, you need people to be honest. I'm always going to be honest with an artist. If they send something to me, I'm like, yeah, and I've done it. I've had somebody send me music and I've sent it back to them. I've said, yeah, you got something there, but I don't think you're at that point yet.
Mhm.
And then they'll come back to me a couple months later. Oh, what do you think of this? I'm like, yeah, okay, that's already a big improvement. And I think
100%.
that means something to me when an artist listens and actually takes that advice and goes back and works on it. Right.
Mhm.
So then, yeah, once you find that good producer, then I mean, really, a good producer is going to take your your music and your creation, or if you don't have your own music and you just want to perform music and you want to use songs that were written by somebody else, a good producer will know where to find that music and pitch it to you and find it for you, um, and then they'll help turn that into something that you can be proud of. They'll work with you on that, and then you'll have a single that you can put out. And then the key thing is just like anything. I mean, and I see the biggest mistake that artists make right now, is in the release, particularly the first release, um, and that is they just put it out there. Like they go and they submit it to whether it's DistroKid, whatever,
Yeah.
and they go just release immediately, but they haven't claimed their Spotify or their Apple or whatever. Spotify is the most important. You can't do much with the others. So that's why I always say you want to put it out to the distributor, whether it's CD Baby, DistroKid, TuneCore, whatever, at least and set the release date at least 5 weeks in the future, especially for your first release. But you want to give every subsequent release at least 4. Reason being, and there's a couple.
Listen up, everybody.
For your first release, you're not going to have your Spotify or anything claimed. So you don't want is if you push your single out and you haven't claimed Spotify, when it's released, your profile picture, if you want to call it that, is just going to be your album graphic. And there won't be a bio. There won't be any social links or whatever. And another thing that I see a lot of artists miss too, they may have claimed Spotify, but see, you can't highlight and copy and paste and click on links in your bio, which people put links in there all the time. They're not clickable. And you can't highlight the text and then paste it into a browser. So what ends up happening is they have no way to go from your Spotify profile and find you off of Spotify, right? So if say they find Tim Albertson on Spotify and they really love the song A Bar Like This, they want to find out more about where you are, like where you're from, what shows you've got coming up. Like maybe you don't have your Songkick integrated with Spotify. They want to follow you on social media. Well, if you don't have a way for them to do that, I'll tell you that the overall, most people aren't just going to take something they see and then go and type it into Google. You have to give them that way.
You have to give them one click. Yeah.
So that's the nice thing with Spotify. Now, Apple doesn't have that. Amazon doesn't have that. I wish they would do it. Actually, the only thing you can change on Apple and Amazon is your profile photo. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you can do. So Spotify, what you do, so you put your music out there. And so as soon as your distributor, like I said, DistroKids, usually, I mean, you do it usually within 24 hours. You can claim it on Spotify. Some make it easy, some make it difficult. Spotify has incredible support. You give them the ISRC number for your song. Once they've said that, yeah, it's been delivered, you message Spotify support, they will give you ownership of your account. Just like that. They're super, super amazing support.
We went through that together, and yeah, it was
and seconds. So you want to go in there. So then once you have it claimed, again, this is primarily for your first single. So you go in there and you doll it up. And so you can add photos, you can add a cover photo, your profile photo, write your bio, and you can tag artists that influence you. So, I mean, whether it's Aaron Allen or whether it's AC/DC or what have you.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can actually tag them in your bio or tag specific songs in your bio. I think you can even tag songwriters in your bio. So, I mean, if you're doing, like, for example, A Bar Like This, which was a song that was written by somebody else, high profile songwriter, if they have a claimed songwriter profile on Spotify, which the ones that are under, what do they call that? Certain agencies, they can do that. And so you could tag the writer, all these things. It's all different ways just to kind of make your profile interactive. Um, and then the most important, this is again, so I've seen a lot of artists that'll go in there, they'll claim all that, they'll have the beautiful bio, and then they put their website link into the bio. That's not going to do anything for you because you can't copy it and you can't click on it because
it's
not
just
clickable.
wasting characters.
Yeah, exactly. But what you can do is Spotify's got a built-in form where you can put in your Facebook, you could put in your Instagram, you could put in your Wikipedia if you've got a Wikipedia page. And you can put, there's a new one they just added, I can't remember what it is, but you can also do your Twitter.
Nice.
So then that just creates the social icons on your profile so that people can click from your profile and go to your socials. That is incredibly important. If you have nothing else, and I know a lot of artists that go in there, they have bio, hi, my name is Jane.
Yeah.
And then they have all their social links. That's fine, right? Because what that then does, it's actually, it's kind of ingenious because instead of giving your whole life story and the whatever characters they give you on Spotify,
now you have to click onto the
give
socials.
them a one sentence. If they want to know more, they're going to come to your socials. If they're clicking, they're going to like your socials. I guarantee it. Because people aren't just going to click on, hey, let's go look at his Facebook and then not like it.
That's it. My Spotify bio is now just going to be, hi, my name is Tim.
Why not? I mean, it's an interesting experiment to see if it does anything, right? I mean, I've seen a lot of artists that do it. The most important thing on anything is it's all about driving traffic, right? So you want to be able to go from point A to point B in as few steps as possible. I mean, we went from back in the good old days, in the early days of the interweb, having incredibly long single page websites where all you're doing is scrolling all day long.
Yeah.
And that's not cool anymore. People don't want that anymore. They want,
fast, easy,
nice,
effective.
kind of laid out as little bit of scrolling, have as much on one page. If they need to go to different pages, so be it. But you want to keep it as simple as possible. And the most important thing on your streaming, because that's for a lot of new artists anyways, you're going to, because it's and this is another reason why, or another key step that you want to do. So once it's distributed, you've got your bio and your socials all set up. There's one other very, very important step that a lot of artists forget, and that's the song pitch.
Yes.
Again, it's exclusive to Spotify. It is probably the most critical step in the release.
And one that you will probably lose sleep over.
Well, yeah, yes and no. You shouldn't, because it comes with a couple of kind of bonus features, if you want to call it that. So what this pitch is going to do. So number one, the first and foremost purpose of this is to pitch it to Spotify's editors or curators, I should say. They curate their editorial playlist. Now, don't lose sleep over whether or not you're going to get picked for a Spotify playlist. I've heard, and this is probably even higher now, but I've heard they're getting about 5,000 submissions a day.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, I don't know how many curators they have, but that's a lot of music.
No doubt.
And I know, again, I mean, I know people at Spotify. I've been on countless webinars with Spotify, and they listen to every song that's pitched. And I mean, their playlists, if you ever look at a Spotify playlist, you're looking at what, 60 songs?
Yeah.
So if you're doing 5, okay, now they've also got hundreds of thousands of playlists. I don't even know how many playlists they have, but they got a playlist for every occasion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, my dog got run over by the train and my girlfriend stole the car. There's a playlist for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Apple. Remember when Apple phones first came out? They have an app for that.
Yeah.
Spotify's got a playlist for that.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so that's step one of the pitch. And there's a lot of steps, but go through it, think about it, because what you're doing is it's a marketing pitch. What they want to know, because by them adding you to their playlist, is same as radio, is they're taking up, say, one of 60 spots with your song. They want to know why they should do that.
Yeah.
What are they going to get in return? Right? Because if you're getting all of your streams from that playlist, that's not their goal. Their goal is for you to bring up your end, promote your music.
Yeah.
Of course, it drives traffic to their platform. Um, and they actually prefer free accounts on Spotify because, and you get paid more from the free accounts on Spotify because they're ad supported. Spotify
Ah,
makes
that makes
money
sense.
off
Yeah,
of
yeah,
those,
yeah.
right? So the payout's a little bit higher. Um, and so the more people that you bring, of course, they make money off of the premium accounts too.
Hmm.
I don't know, probably more off the free because of the advertising. Um, but so anyway, but you're in a sense a salesperson for their platform, and whether it's Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or Tidal, or whatever
Yeah,
streaming platform that you use, you're the salesperson. Your job is to drive your fans to one of those platforms,
yeah,
and so Spotify gives you the opportunity in, I don't know, 200 characters or 200 words. I don't know how many words, but to make a pitch and say, okay, this is the story about the song. This is what I'm doing. This is what inspired me. This is what I'm going to do to promote it. And this is why I want it to be on your playlist. So this is why I think it's a good
mm,
fit for your playlist or whatever. Um, and then you submit. Now, like I said, it is not easy to get on a Spotify playlist. I mean, it's not impossible. I mean, we've landed a couple, um, but it's generally, if you're successful getting one song on, that generally means that
mm,
you'll get future songs in as well. But so the second part that people don't consider, they're like, oh, I don't care about the Spotify playlist because as many Spotify curated playlists there's at least two independent playlists that are even bigger and drive more streams.
yeah.
Um, so playlisting is the key. But what the pitch does, and this is where it's really important that a lot of artists don't realize and therefore or don't do it, is it gets you into the system or into the queue so that when it comes out the first Friday uh, after your release, that's why I mean
Hmm.
ideally you release Fridays. I mean, know your audience, know when your
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
is online to do your release. But I still recommend Fridays being a good release day for Spotify, because what happens is when you do the pitch, your song is going to end up in what's called the release radar on the Friday.
Hmm.
So now the release radar, obviously for your first song, you don't have any followers on Spotify yet because, well, you don't exist. However, you do, because that's where your pre-save comes into play.
Ooh.
So depending on what distributor you use, some are easier, some are harder. CD Baby uses a company called show.co.
Yeah.
DistroKid's got their own built-in Hyperflow, which is actually really easy to set up. Um, I don't think TuneCore has nothing easy anyway. So do your research when you go with the distributor, because that's a very important part,
Hmm.
is that pre-save, because that's going to also help with your chances of getting on a playlist, because Spotify is going to look at it and say, hey, I mean,
I'll look how many pre-saves. Yeah.
Tim Albertson's, a bar like this just got like 1,000 pre-saves, and now we're paying attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, so all those people, obviously, because you're pre-saving it on Spotify, already have Spotify, so they're going to
Hmm.
get your song on their release radar. And believe it or not, it's actually a very popular playlist. A lot of people, it's the most played playlist on Spotify every Friday. It's
Yeah.
unique to every listener. And so not only is it going to be the people that pre-saved it, but also artists that they listen to. The algorithm, it's math. I'm horrible at math, but you just got to figure out,
Once you start putting letters with it, I lose all concentration with it.
well, exactly. So you have this algorithm. And so what it does is it looks at, okay, so you've got Sally, who's a big fan of, she pre-saved a bar like this because she's been watching Tim for the last 5 years on his streaming.
Thanks, Sally.
And so she wants to pre-save the song, but so she's got friends that are also on Spotify that they follow each other, and
Hmm.
they each have their own little playlists, and they like each other's playlists and engage and share music. And so she also follows other artists. All right. So then you've got Jane, who maybe doesn't know Tim Albertson, but is friends with Sally.
Yeah.
And they have artists that are similar in style, maybe other country artists in common. So Jane is probably going to get your song on the release radar because she's friends with somebody who likes your song. And that person and they also have similar other artists that they have in common. Right. So there's a common thread. So that's
Wow.
how that algorithm works. So your song's going to get out there, and it's a huge source of streams. So it doesn't, in Steve Jobs fashion, but wait, there's more. So you got about 2-3 weeks of the release radar. And so then when it drops off of that, sometimes right away, sometimes it's a week or so later, if there's traffic on it. I mean, if the song goes nowhere and it falls flat, it may not go into the next round. But so after that, it goes into what's called Discovery Weekly.
Yeah.
That comes out every Monday. And so what that is again, so people who may have discovered your song in the release radar on the Friday, the algorithm kicks in again. And so then it goes through their friends and followers. And again, it finds all the common threads and says, okay, so these are all the artists that they have in common with artists or with people that like Tim Albertson.
Yeah.
So now we're going to throw that song into their Discovery Weekly so they can discover a bar like this.
Wow.
All right. So then again, you got a couple of weeks in Discovery Weekly, but wait, there's more. And so after that, so now you've got a huge audience. Everybody's streaming a bar like this, like crazy, so then, say a month or two after your release, you end up in the repeat rewind, or is it just because there's two, there's rewind.
There's rewind.
And so anyways, you end up in one of them, and it's basically the songs that you've been listening to on repeat, but maybe, it's a little bit older, so you've stopped listening to it, but you really liked it when it first came out. So we're going to throw it into a playlist with other songs that you haven't listened to in a while, but you really liked at the time, and you can listen to them again.
That's
of course, it's like a throwback playlist, right? So again, you'll probably be in that. So then there's one that's like repeat, rewind, rewinder. I can't remember the name of it, but it's like a second.
This is throwback. How many playlists Spotify has, people. They have to.
Yeah, well, and they're algorithmic playlists, what they call those, not editorial. They're completely automated. No human hands touch them. It's completely based on your engagement as a listener on the platform. All of that happens because you submit your song. You do a pitch with your song. You don't do that, you don't even end up in that, whatever you want to call it, system.
Yeah, that's incredible. I did not know that.
Right. So a lot of our artists starting out, because there is. I mean, if you do a little bit of research on, and I should mention, I mean, nothing against Apple or Amazon. They each have their own merits. Spotify is the only one that does this. Right. So you can say what you want. I don't want to get into that argument with people about the dollars and cents of it. Because yes, streaming doesn't pay a lot of money. But okay, you know what? Let me roll back the clock, like way back, long before Soundcheck. I did some distribution for a local rock band. All right. I had boxes and boxes of CDs that they had to pay. They paid to record it, same as you would now. But then they had to record to print. I think it was 1,000 or more CDs. I'm not sure what it cost. I mean, it was probably around maybe 25 cents a CD.
Yeah.
And then you're selling it for like $15. You make good profit if you sell them.
If you sell them. If not, they make very lovely coasters.
It's got to be about 30 years ago. And I had to take, no, more than that, less than that. 25 years ago, I had to take those CDs and visit local music stores in our area. Traveling is Northern Ontario, New Liskeard, Ontario, is where I grew up. And so I was traveling all, North Bay, Sudbury, further north, Cochrane.
Yeah.
Sometimes if I was heading to GTA, like maybe Barrie, Muskoka, that area, and, it would basically work on a consignment deal. So it's like, okay, so we put these in here and you take a cut and then I get the rest. Well, I think it's about, so of course I'm not getting paid my gas. I was going to these places already or whatever.
You're putting your time, your money into it.
Yeah. So I think the band may have lasted 2-3 years. I think about 2 moves ago, I finally got rid of about 4 boxes of CDs.
Oh my goodness.
Right. So, I mean, they paid to make all these CDs and got nothing, zero out of it, nothing. Because I think they all ended up at Value Village. And I'm sure somebody eventually bought them or they ended up in the dumpster, but they didn't get a penny out of it.
Yeah, no.
I mean, they got something. I mean, they would have got some stuff at the store. So now you look at streaming. Okay. Now, so let's use CD Baby as an example. What's it cost? Like $40.
Yeah.
to put out a single.
Yeah. Something
Right?
like that.
Now let's look at DistroKid as one of the other options. It starts at about $10 US, and you get unlimited releases for a year. Right. So now I think that's for the basic. You can go the next step up, and there's add-ons you can do. Like
Yeah.
you have to pay every year. It's a subscription. And you can pay for legacy if you want to do a song. It's like $30 a song. If you don't want to pay, like let's say it's your last song and you're not releasing music for a couple more years or whatever, then you could pay the $30, or but if you have a couple of singles out there, because as soon as you stop paying, your music goes away.
Yeah.
So it's like you look at it, what's cheaper? I just put out 4 singles last year. I could pay $30 each for legacy, or I can keep paying $10 a year to keep my music there.
Just keep them there.
I mean, it just depends, right? It depends, what your budget is and that kind of stuff. But the big picture of it is, and it's all about like streaming. You can make money, and people make money on streaming alone. It just comes down to putting out music. I know a lot of people got upset at the CEO of Spotify, I don't know, like a year ago. And I can't say I don't agree with them. It's like, there's so much music out there, and they make it so easy to put it out there. If you do your homework, you can find ways to put your music out there very inexpensively, way cheaper than it costs to print CDs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And every single stream, you're making money. Even if it's only, here, let me take a penny and shave some copper off of it. It still all adds up.
Yeah,
the more music you put out, the better chances you have. So if you have one song that's averaging, say, 200 streams a month, and then you record another song 3 or 4 or 5 months later, I mean, I think on average, you're looking about a 3 to 4 month cycle that a song has on streaming, where it's pretty, like you got a bit of an ebb and flow of and it kind of follows those playlists that Spotify has, the algorithmic playlists. I mean, you can get into the whole daily mixes. Everybody has like 3 or 4, I think 4 daily mixes in there as well. And then not even to talk about the ones that you get at the end of the year. There's so many algorithmic playlists that your music can get out to that will keep it going. But you release one song, your odds of making any kind of money are much lower than if you're putting out music regularly.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I get that there's costs involved, but the more you work on your craft, the more you put into it, the more you learn, you put out a song and you say, okay, what worked and what didn't. Right. And I mean, it is still social media. Social media, you're going to have some things that are going to go viral, and you're going to be like, how the heck did that go viral?
Yeah.
And we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have.
You're going to have some things that you're going to be, this is going to be huge, and it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a post that you did at 2 o'clock in the morning and it blows up.
Right. Exactly. And so you need to consider that. You can't let it get you down. You just say, okay, what can we do differently? What can we change? I mean, like we've talked, I think, if I can point at any one thing with a bar like this, it's the fact that it's not your song. You didn't write it.
Yeah, no,
which is okay. I mean, this is something that happens a lot. Problem with that one is that there's about 3 or 4 different versions of it on Spotify already.
Yeah.
Which now makes it more of a cover than anything. So I would take that, learn from that.
100%.
My advice for you, number one, is if you can get your own song that never existed before, do that. I say that to any artist on the planet. There's nothing better than, because everything that if you write a song, it's telling your story.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Right. It's got your inspiration. You put your magic into that. Or
I don't want to give away things on here yet, Hendrik.
I mean, but or you find somebody that's written a song, you get pitched that song, you look through the song, you listen to the song, you're like, dude, this song speaks to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you had that story with Looking for a Road, right? I mean, that song spoke to you. It tells a story. It's relevant to you.
100%.
Not that a bar like this wasn't. But I mean, it shows in the performance of that song. It's your biggest song on Spotify. It's doubled what you're doing with a bar like this.
Yep.
And so you can kind of learn from that and say, okay, I mean, doesn't mean that a bar like this, and it's interesting because a bar like this is actually doing fairly well on, I mean, for an emerging artist. I mean, people say, oh, what position is it on the chart? I'm like, artists that I work with right now, it's not about the charts. It's how many of these non-reporting stations are willing to play the song.
Exactly.
If we can get 2 or 3 stations or 4 stations playing the song, that's a win. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to be on a nationwide rotation on either Rogers Country Radio or Pure Country. I mean, that would be amazing for any artist, but that's
100%. Yeah.
At this stage in your game, you need to know where you set the bar, right? When you're starting out, like I'm not an athletic person by any means, but if let's say you're doing chin-ups and stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going to set the bar as high as you possibly can?
Not a chance.
Or weightlifting. You're not going to put the heaviest weight on it.
Yeah.
You're going to start and gradually build out. So if you're going to do a radio release, and there's also easy ways as an emerging artist to do that as well. Radio can be very expensive, but there's also ways to do it inexpensively. And then you also have to ask yourself, do I need to put this out to radio?
Yeah.
Actually,
I did want to ask
not every
you that
song
question.
needs to.
I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah.
In your personal opinion, streaming versus radio, with the way that, life is going right now in terms of people, it feels as though they're like transitioning from radio to a streaming culture. So does radio still have that big impact that streaming seems to be getting a lot now?
Yeah, I think radio I really don't foresee radio. It's things have changed. I don't foresee radio going anywhere anytime soon. I think radio is still a huge part. It's going to evolve. I mean, it's already evolved from what we've known it before. I mean, there's a lot more syndication. I mean, it's gone a lot less from the small town, the local shows where the announcers and the DJs personally, to you might have a morning show of people that and then a syndicated afternoon show, and then maybe back to a drive home show. But I mean, I don't think radio is going anywhere per se. I think it's a huge platform. And radio is such a loose term nowadays too, because there's so many different variations of it, right? Because you've got international streaming, online radio. There's thousands of stations. I don't even know half of them. And it's just in the last year. I mean, watching what some of these others are doing, there's like radio stations from Ireland playing a ton of Canadian. Well, I mean, Country Thunder Network, they're based in China, and they're playing a ton of Canadian country music there. So, I mean, yeah, radio, like if you're not talking terrestrial radio, like the brick and mortar radio that we grew up listening to, it's not going anywhere. Reason being is because when the internet goes down, you still have radio.
True that.
If the power goes out and you have battery operated radio, you'll still have radio. It's still very much, I think it's made itself probably the most irreplaceable medium out there right now. I mean, that's not to say that down the road things will evolve further and eventually the brick and mortar radio as we know it now could potentially cease to exist. But I think they've rooted themselves enough into society that I think more so than the print newspapers and stuff that are slowly fading away. I think radio for the most part is here to stay. It's ever changing, right? But I think it's definitely, it's something that should be on every artist's radar. Maybe not for every song they put out. I think it's something that's worth, going to, a second set of ears, whether it's a peer, like another artist that's had some success, and saying, hey, do you mind giving this song a listen? And I mean, I just put it out. What do you think about me putting it out to radio? Like even if you do, you push to the minor market, like the non-reporting stations. I mean, like I said, I don't recommend to an emerging artist to spend a whole lot of money on a radio tracker. I mean, okay, you get a big name producer for your debut single and, like the Jason Berrys of this world, a guy like that, and he's like, dude, you got a hit on your hands. You need to put this out to radio. Listen to the guy.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
usually know
The
what
man knows what he's talking
He
about.
knows what he's talking about,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like, and there's other producers out there in Canada and Ontario that if they tell you that this is worth putting out, you put it out. But I mean, you hire a radio tracker, which if you're doing a major market professional release and you have the budget for it, I mean, if you can include it in your marketing budget, a radio tracker is worth every penny. But make sure you have the budget, because it's going to cost you for a minor market release, probably starting in the 1,500 to $3,000.
Yeah.
$3,000 for a major market minimum, and probably about 1,000, 1,500 for a minor market. I recommend doing as much as you can by yourself. There's easy ways to do that. What I do for a lot of the artists, now I'm not a radio tracker at this point in my career, in the music side of things. I don't have any aspirations of becoming a radio tracker, because that's like a job in itself.
Yeah.
If you want a radio tracker, then definitely hit me up, and I've got a number I can recommend. There's some amazing trackers in Canada that I have worked with that are absolutely incredible, and will absolutely work magic for you. Just be sure that it's in your budget, because it's not cheap. But again, they get results, right? So I mean, you get what you pay for.
Absolutely.
Now there are options. There's a company that I use. There's like, let's look at like the ways that you can do it. I mean, you if you have the time and the ability, and you are fairly decent with Google, you can probably in a matter of a couple of weeks put together a decent sized list of Canadian radio contacts.
Yeah.
It may be some international streaming and maybe some US radio contacts, and you can start drafting emails and emailing these program directors and saying, hey, my name's Tim Albertson. This is my song. Would you mind putting it on the radio? Or you can sign up with my friends at Play MPE, which is a company that I've been using now for a little over a year. I was introduced to them actually by a radio tracker friend of mine, Mike Rice from RPM,
Nice.
a few years ago, and just an amazing company. I mean, they're Vancouver based, about 10 years old. They've been in the industry for a long time, and they currently, I don't know if this is going to be a short-term thing, but it's been going on for over almost 2 years now, I guess. But if you release to the Canadian market, it costs you nothing. So FREE, free.
Yeah. Listen up for the people in the back.
Yeah, free. It's great for the and what you have to, it's part of it. It's not just enough just to put it out there. It's a form you fill in, you send it to their editors, they put it together, send you a proof, you say yes or no, whatever you want to change. And they'll give you a walkthrough for your first one. It's really, really easy. And they're super, super great people to work with. But there's a stage 2 to that. Just like anything, follow up is key. And this firsthand.
There's more.
Right. But you know this firsthand too, Tim, right? Because you followed up with a radio station based on the report.
Yep.
When we did your song to Play MPE, I sent you the report, which is what I do to all the artists. I usually send it within 24, 48 hours of the first, when it first comes out. And then I kind of monitor it. And then I send it a week or two later, depending on what's changed, because not all program directors are going to get to it right away. And you might have stragglers or whatever. So follow up is key, because what's going to happen is when you push it out, they're either going to, depending how they have it set up, they'll get a daily digest, where they'll get, one email that's going to have all the releases of the day for whatever they're subscribed to, or they just get them as they come out. So then they listen to it and then they decide yeah or no. Some don't listen to it at all. Some, I mean, you have to remember, this is nothing against the artist. Radio gets a ton of music.
100%. Yeah.
And you're not just competing against fellow Canadian artists. You're competing against, those folks south of the border, that the Canadian artists open for on their tours across Canada. I mean, that's another part of releasing music that we didn't touch on. Do your
Yeah.
homework, find out
Yeah.
who else might be coming out with music.
That is a
It's
big
not
one,
always
actually.
easy,
Yeah.
and you're always rolling the dice because, um, in particularly when you want to go to radio,
Yeah.
because you want to go to radio, a radio station in a given week, you might be looking at, yeah, if you're lucky, 2 or 3 slots. Most times it's
Mhm.
only one.
And
You know,
if two big names are there,
come on,
good
let's
luck.
put it to you this way: if Tim Albertson and Luke Combs release a song on the same day, guess who's getting the slot?
Definitely not
Not
Tim
Tim
Albertson.
Albertson. And that's nothing against Tim.
No,
That's they
that's
only have a spot because they
mhm,
still have to play all the big hits that are hits, and it's a business. Yeah, you can't
mhm,
forget the fact that it's a business. Everything's a
absolutely.
business, and you're a business as an artist. And in any business, you have to watch your bottom line. And so when you're starting out, the biggest mistake that I see artists doing is they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna throw my music at a biggest radio tracker. I'm gonna spend thousands of dollars."
Hmm.
Look at the report if you do that, because I'm telling you right off the bat, you're going to see a couple of downloads, a couple of streams, and then you got to figure out what to you is worth that kind of money,
Yeah.
right? I mean, how many downloads? I mean, okay, you go for a major market. If you get it added by enough reporting stations, it's going to show up in the charts and it's going to show up in the reports.
Hmm.
But you have to ask yourself the question, what do I need to see as an end result to make it worth that kind of money for me?
Yeah.
Because realistically, a first single, if you get even 2 or 3 ads out of a release, I mean, so Play MPE is, if you're going to do a Play MPE release, you
Yeah.
do it by genre. So you do it by genre. So country right now, it's about 500 contacts. Now that's
Mhm.
radio. That could be blogs, podcasters, streaming radio. They're all in there. So they'll get this release. That hasn't cost you anything, right? So you're starting out. That's a good way to find out. Obviously, if you're getting wicked traction on
Yeah.
your debut release on Play MPE, then your next step, I highly, highly suggest
A radio
do
tracker. Yeah.
do some, like I said, check with your peers. Who do you use as a radio tracker? Get some suggestions. Maybe don't go with the first one, but ask around,
Hmm.
call them up, have a conversation with them. What can you do for me? This is what I'm releasing next. My first song did this, this, and this. What would you recommend? Let them buy you, let them
Yeah.
pitch to you,
Yeah.
right? Because in the end, you need to choose what's best for your bottom line and find the tracker that's going to do best by you.
Hmm.
But I mean, if you do your first release, and don't be discouraged if you release to 500 contacts and you get 8 engaging with it. This is normal. This is what happens. Nobody knows who you are, and they're going to see it come in. I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, we might get a little bit more traction coming because Soundcheck is a known name, so they see that it's from Soundcheck or that I'm
Hmm.
putting it out, and they're like, okay, well, we'll give it a listen. You might have a better shot,
Yeah.
but in the end, it still comes down to it's not me that's going to get your song out there. And I've this has been a work in progress even for me as we've been
Hmm.
working with artists, because I used to do that follow up,
Yeah.
right? I would reach out and say, hey, we sent this song to you. But then I tried it out actually with Courtney Bowles with her song
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful Daughter. When we pushed it out,
Beautiful
I had
song.
Courtney do the follow up. It was so much more organic. The response was so much better.
Hmm.
And not only that, it was building that relationship between her and the program director so that when she comes out the next song, that relationship's already there,
Yeah.
right? And so the same thing happened with you. I mean, you followed up initially with Jacqueline at the ranch,
Yep.
and she had streamed it when it first came out. You followed up, hey, we saw that you streamed the track. Would you be interested in adding it?
Hmm.
And
And
they
it got
added it.
added. Yeah.
And you also followed up with CBC at SiriusXM. You followed up
Hmm.
with Julian. You sent him an email, say, hey, buddy, I mean, thank you for streaming the song that we sent you, and we'd love it if you would play it. And
Absolutely.
today we know that your
And
song is being streamed there,
and
right?
I've
So
already had artists that have come out to me and they're like, hey man, like congratulations on the single, do you have any advice? And if you're listening to this podcast right now, the gentleman that I sent to, literally, probably just as you had stated, gets thousands upon thousands upon thousands of emails a day. All you have to do is continuously show that how bad you want it by continuously sending back feedback. And I'm not saying like send an email once a day to the gentleman, like give it a little while,
Right.
follow back up, and then continuously go. But it could take a long time, and it could still not be there, or you might get as lucky as I did today and find out that your song made it on there.
Yeah, I mean, like I get on average 400 emails a day. That's
Yeah,
just sound check. I can imagine what Julian at CBC gets,
no doubt,
right?
eh?
Because
Like,
he's getting emails from DMDS, he's getting emails from Play MPE, and then all the people that are just cold calling him and sending him their music. But I mean, I usually say my golden rule is no more than 3.
yeah,
If you start sending more than 3 emails, and I mean, like Tim said, spread it out. If
yeah.
you do more than 3, then you're getting a little bit pushy.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't think you ever heard back from Julian. I mean, he probably said, "Yeah, okay, I'll throw
No,
it on."
I didn't get a
Sometimes
confirmation email.
Sometimes they're just too busy to respond. I mean, it's the same thing with me. I'll get a playlist submission. I'll listen to the song. I try. I mean, I usually try to follow up, say, "Hey, yeah, I love the song. I added it, and here's the link again." Or I found it actually fit better here, and I'll send the link. But there's sometimes, like I said, I get so much email. And I mean, I know any publicists that I work with that are listening to this podcast, they can attest that sometimes, I mean, I know there's a publicist, a friend of mine at Strut Entertainment. So she'll shoot me a text. Did you get my email? We really want you to do this interview. And I'm like, yeah, I saw it. I have it flagged to follow up. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is I'll flag this to follow up. And then 6 months, oh yeah, it didn't follow up on that.
What's it starred for?
And sometimes I need to go and set reminders on the really important ones, right? But I mean, that's just how it is. But I usually use a golden rule, unless you're like really in the good books with a certain, whether it's a program director, like if it's a friend, somebody that you can just send a DM on Facebook, that you have that relationship with, do that. But if you're just new, you don't want to come across as pushy. And social media, it always comes back to social media. You get added to a playlist on streaming, share it. They all have built-in tools to share it, whether it's to Instagram stories. I mean, I'm sure you could share it to TikTok. I don't use TikTok.
I know a bar like this is on there, but that's about as much as I know.
Yeah, I guess it gets released to there.
Yeah.
You can share it to Snapchat. I mean, but share it, because to a curator, their goal, like my goal for all the playlists that I curate, is to grow the playlist, because if the playlist grows in followers, it grows in listeners. And again, that's how the algorithm works, right? Everybody that follows those playlists, if you're on it, the odds of you showing up on somebody else that follows it, Discovery Weekly, even though they don't follow you, it's a vicious cycle, right? And so it all really plays a part. And I mean, be willing to learn, because you never stop.
No.
I mean, I started working with artists it was in March of last year that I really started. I mean, Chess Anthony was the first a year or so before, but it was just him, and I was doing it as a favor to him, as a friend. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I could do this, for other artists and really help a lot of artists. And that was my goal when I started that last year, was to take the skill set that I know how long it's taken me just to learn the little bit that I know. And I'm not saying I know everything. I don't know anywhere near. I mean, there's so many people out there that know way more than I do. But the stuff that I know, and I mean, I'm continuing to learn, but it's taken me this long to learn and figure out and develop your curator contacts for Spotify playlists, submission sites and all these different programs that kind of go into it. Don't be afraid to submit. And, I mean, I got maybe 1,000 submissions per song that I work with. And I'm lucky if sometimes you get 20 or 30 playlist ads. And sometimes if you're lucky, those playlist ads, somebody happens to listen to it and then takes your song and adds it to another playlist. It happened to Courtney, Beautiful Daughter, the same thing. We had it on it. Added it to a bunch of playlists. I think probably 20, 30 playlists at the start. And then it got picked up by a huge playlist, and the song just blew up. And then from there, it started adding, like, playlists were coming out of the woodwork.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, it's, and then sometimes it doesn't. I mean, in streaming, you've got your ebbs and your tides, just like everything.
Hmm.
Um, you really want to look at trends. Don't release a song to streaming if um, some majorly hyped Netflix series is debuting that weekend.
Yeah.
Um, because guess what? Your audience is watching TV, not
Yep.
listening to Spotify. Um, right? So, I mean, a good time is coming up. We're getting to the end of the TV season, so you're getting
Yeah.
into a
Now you're
period of
getting
time
into the
when
outsides.
you know. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not going to be as much stuff to watch. People are going to be out. They're going to be out jogging. They're going to be out doing yard work. They're going to be listening to more music. This is the prime time to release and release according to the season, right? And that kind of stuff. And do your homework. Figure out in advance kind of where you foresee your song landing on playlists and stuff before you. Sometimes even before you decide what kind of song you want to release, because it can make a huge difference, right?
Yeah.
It's like what's big right now. I mean, is outlaw country big right now? And do I have any songs that maybe fall under that,
Hmm.
or is there kind of this kind of rock and country? Do I want to kind of fall in with the David Boy James, Aaron Allen kind of crowd
Yep.
and kind of do the beer drinking, kind of rocking country,
Yeah. Your nice
with like
anthems.
the guitar heavy and anthem kind of stuff,
Hmm.
or do you want to kind of go down more of the thoughtful route, like the Brett Kissel route? Like a lot of Brett Kissel songs, they're storytelling. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got albums that from start to finish you can make a movie out of that album and it would
Right.
make sense
Yeah.
just using the songs, right? So it's a huge thought process that goes um into deciding what kind of artist you want to be, right? So
Hmm.
these are all things that you need to take into consideration. But
Absolutely.
most importantly, I think that the most important thing is be yourself. Say what you want about the American Idols and stuff like that. But the one feedback that I always really, really like that they give is when an artist gets up there,
Hmm.
let's say they get up there and they do a country song. They're from New York City, but all of a sudden they've got a Georgian twang in their sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Be yourself. You can sing country music without
Putting a
adding
draw
an
in it.
accent,
Yeah.
right? Because that's not you. If you don't talk like that, don't sing like that,
Hmm.
right? Because then it's not authentic. You want to be authentic. You want to be you, and don't be afraid of your audience. They don't bite, right? And don't be afraid to kind of, you know,
You clearly haven't seen
particularly
my
when
audience before.
performing. Well, yeah. I mean, I can't speak for them, but
They only
most
nibble
audiences
nicely
don't
though.
bite. Um, but no, I mean, the key thing is if when you're recording a song, it's that expression you can hear a smile.
Hmm.
It comes out when you listen to music. You can tell the ones that are kind of rocking out
Yeah.
while they're in the studio recording it, or the ones that are just
You can
standing
feel
there.
the energy coming through that
Right.
song. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Celebrate the song as you're recording it because that's going to go into it and it's going to come through. It's going to have the same feeling that you're having when you're recording that song is going to come through when the person's listening to it.
Hmm.
And to me, that's what I look for when I listen to music. To me, a genre doesn't matter. I'm not genre, and I don't care what genre of music you make, because if I always say if it moves me, I'll listen to it. I don't care if it's pop. I don't care if it's rap. I don't care if it's rock.
Hmm.
I think I said that. I don't care if it's country. um, if it moves me and it inspires me, I'll listen to it.
Yeah. I'm very much the same way.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just everything. The authenticity is the same because I mean, you
Mhm.
can tell, not that it's fraudulent, but you can tell the fakes, I guess you can call it, the ones that are trying to be something that they're not.
Yeah.
Um, if you get it a lot in pop, where they kind of try to do, particularly female. And actually, it's my daughter was getting into singing at one point, and I coached her on that because she would. I remember just in certain inflections that she would change. I'm like, you don't talk like that. Don't do it when
Yeah.
you're singing either. Now, she opted not to follow music, and I still to this day tell her you should have. I mean, she so much talent, but I mean, you have to want to do it.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter how talented you are. If it's not something that you want to do, don't do it, because don't
Exactly.
let anybody say that just because you're the best singer in the world, if music isn't something that inspires you, that you're passionate about,
Mhm.
you're not gonna you're not gonna like the business,
No.
because
It's
it's
still gonna
it's
be work for you.
it is
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. It's gonna be work. It's not gonna be fun, and it's gonna come across when you're performing.
Mhm.
Um, and it's something that, yeah, I mean, there's work involved in making music. Um, I try to tell as many artists as possible, avoid doing too much yourself, because you do the administrative stuff too much,
Mhm.
unless you love the administrative stuff. Like, I mean, an artist like Susie Corey, you talk to her, off stage,
Yeah.
she's as passionate about the administrative side of it as she is the music side of it. And that's great. You know, that's great, because
Mhm.
to me, that's an all-encompassing artist, and that's fantastic. She doesn't need somebody like me, because she's more passionate about it than I am, and I don't know if that's possible. Um,
I
but
know.
that's the key. But if you're not passionate about the administrative side, then do your research, find somebody, whether it's Soundcheck or somebody else.
Mhm.
Uh, I like Front Porch. I know Logan does stuff like that for artists too. Find somebody like that will work with you. Don't go out and blow your bank account on, you know huge names, or spend, do some homework, find out. My goal, and what I've always wanted to do, is I want to make it so that, Soundcheck Entertainment, we can do everything for an artist that they need to get started. I mean, we're already the media publication, so I
Yeah.
mean, we do your publicity, and we're also one of the media outlets that everybody else wants to be featured on, right?
Exactly,
And
right?
so, as busy as we are getting stuff from other publicists and stuff like that, all of our artists get an automatic buy into our
Mhm.
site,
Mhm.
right? The automatic feature, they automatically get to the top of the playlists. And, um, you know, so, I mean, not to say you have to go with Soundtrack, you have to go with the one that works best for you.
Mhm.
Um, and we're still going to do everything we can to support you if you go with somebody else.
Exactly,
Uh,
yeah.
my goal, though, is to make it as affordable as possible, and make it so that the artists that don't have a huge budget can still help building that foundation,
Mhm.
even if it's just for one single, to kind of help build the foundation. I know Courtney did most of Whispers on her own. Um, and yeah, I mean, budgetary, I mean, and that's fine. I mean, she learned a lot from Beautiful Daughter. She's built up a huge contact list.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she's as passionate about it as Susie. I just saw she broke her leg or her foot, so I hope
Oh.
she didn't kick somebody to get her to play her music. I know, I'm just kidding, Courtney. I know you would never do that. Um, but no, I mean, it's, you know, find somebody that can do as much as you can, right? So I mean, like, we can offer everything from your um, uh, publicity. I'm starting radio. I mean, I don't say radio from a tracking perspective. We can get it out to radio.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's included in any of our packages. We can release it to streaming, take care of all that, build your Spotify profile, pitch your music, claim your profile, all that stuff for all those,
Build
Spotify,
your
Amazon,
website.
all those ones.
You also
Help
have a
with the
hand in
website.
merch.
Yeah, we can help you
Yep.
with the merch. Um, I mean, merch. That's another thing from a keeping costs low.
Mhm.
A lot of artists, they go out, they spend thousands of dollars and buy all this merch,
Bulk.
right?
Yep.
And then they have all this merch that they can't get rid of. So what we do is, yeah, I mean, we can like, I have a team, that a business partner that looks after all that,
Mhm.
and he does the digital marketing, so he can do professional websites. We can help you set something up through Bandzoogle as well, help you register your own domain name if you want to do it really simple. If you want a website with all the bells and whistles, then we have a team that can do that for you. But from a merch perspective, what we offer, and what I recommend to a lot of these artists, is what's called made to order.
Mhm.
So basically, what they do is my partner will work with the artist to set up their website, or through our website, or through a part of his website, a store. And so basically you figure out, you come up with the design with him for the merch, and he will set up a store.
Mm-hmm.
Bands go to that site, they order the merch, they make it in-house, and they ship it directly to you. You pay nothing up front, and you get whatever you guys come up with as the, all right, this is what my take home is going to be from the shirt. So you figure out, he figures out from, okay, what's the cost? You mark it up and you get that. He writes you a check at the end of the month. You have no inventory to move. You decide, okay,
Yep.
I'm no longer using that merch line. You change it up. Great. It's deleted off the site. New
Yep.
template, new merch comes up on the site. Done. Right. So,
Beautiful.
and I mean, logo design, I mean, I'll do a quick kind of pan down here. If you're
Drummond
listening,
Stories. Yes, I was going to talk about this shirt.
so Strumming Stories, good friends of mine from the area, actually Kingston area.
Incredible musicians.
So Sean, so my partner does all our design. Now, if you're listening to this, obviously you can't see my shirt.
Unless you're watching on the YouTube video.
Right. If you go to look up Strumming Stories, and you'll see their logo.
Mm-hmm.
He designed the logo for them. So it's one of several that he's done recently. So, I mean, album covers, he did the single graphic for Rick Snyder's Hell of a Night.
Yeah.
And for, shoot, I just lost his name. Latest single. I've drawn a blank. It happens. I mean, some days I can't remember what my name is.
Exactly.
But what's his name? Doesn't matter. He's coming in July anyways. But yeah, his latest album graphic as well.
Nice.
As I mean, we've done a number of them in the past as well. But I mean, we do, it's all encompassing, right? I mean, you need a photographer. I've got lots of photographers and I've got photographers across the country.
Yeah.
You know, I just brought somebody in that can help with lyric videos. Right. So, I mean,
all right, stop the podcast here. We got to have a chit chat here, Hendrik.
The goal here, the goal here is to make it like a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
And to make it so that an emerging artist can come to one place. I mean, there a lot of the services that I look after myself, it's kind of like you can do it a la carte where you're buying individuals, but I have it set up based around the 3-month lifespan of a song. And I've got everything listed under basically, you could pay a la carte for each individual one, or you can just pay X dollars every 3 months and you get it all.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that doesn't include the photography or the digital stuff. That's all.
Yeah. Anything that's subcontracted
obviously,
out
because there's stuff that's involved. I mean, photography is going to come down to, do we need makeup, location, how far we have to travel,
how many shots, how long
it's going
to take. Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's a little different, but I mean, I have the team to do it. And then we work with you and my team and we plan all that. And we come up with something that fits your budget. But that's the goal, right? Because I know that starting out as an artist, it's like, okay, so step number one, all right, I got a song. I wrote a song. Now I got to record it.
Yeah.
Google recording studios in Thunder Bay. Enter.
You're going to get about 3.
Okay. So there you go. Three recording studios in Thunder Bay. All right. So you randomly pick a recording studio. Now you've gone and recorded your song. All right. Then it's like, and it's just, there's so many different things that come into play. You can hire 40 different companies, or you could find one that'll do it. I mean, yes, down the road. I mean, okay. I mean, there's going to be a part of your career where you're going to be dealing with, I guess not really. You're always, I guess in the early days is when you can deal with most, but I mean, once you get under a certain management company, whether it's Invictus or Open Road or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Open Road's an indie label, but say RGK, because they're the management company. So you get into one of these groups and then they'll have their partners and stuff that they work with that will look after all that. And then you get with the record label. And again, they have all these people that they work with, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why not do that at the very beginning of your career? Because I'll tell you right now, if you have to hire, and not just hire, but then coordinate between like 43 or whatever different agencies and groups to try to get, or you have a seamless one primary contact, whether it's me or one of the other people that I have as an account manager. I mean, right now it's just me, but I mean, as it grows,
Yeah.
my goal is to have account managers in the States, in various parts
Absolutely.
of
Yeah.
Canada, because it's not just about me. And I want to make sure that there's enough, but I also want to make sure that if I'm bringing people in to do this, that they can offer the same level of service,
Hmm.
right? Um, and I mean, we'll get there. And so anyway, so the key thing is you want to keep it as simple, kiss, keep it simple, silly. I don't want to call anybody
Yeah.
stupid. you know, so keep it simple, Sally, because Sally's your biggest fan. So keep it simple,
Yeah.
Sally.
Yeah. Sally.
Right, but that's what it comes down to, is you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so that was really my kind of vision when I envisioned the whole marketing side that I
Hmm.
wanted to build, um, was to basically make us a one-stop shop for whatever an emerging artist needs. From the minute, I mean, I've got producers that I recommend, I've got radio trackers that I recommend. If you want radio track, we can do all of that
Yeah.
and arrange it all for you and liaison all that for you. You want to release just to Australia? I now have a contact in Australia, right? So I mean,
Hmm.
there's very little I can't bring to the table. That's not to say that there isn't others that can do the same thing, but rather than find all these different groups that are each going to charge you a certain amount,
Yeah.
I try to do as much as I can for one flat rate that covers everything from, you know, I mean, okay, you'd have to have the song for the flat rate for us. It would have to be is you come to me with a finished product, and you send it like you did with a bar like this,
Yep.
and I'll give it a listen, and I'll say, look, I mean, I don't think it's quite there, and I don't want to take your money,
Hmm.
because I know that money is hard to come by at any given time. And if I don't think that a song is going to have the success that it should, or that it deserves, well, maybe not deserves. If I don't think it's going to have the success because I just don't think it's at the right level,
Hmm.
I'm going to be straight with you. I said, look, I think there's potential here, but it's just not quite at the level where I'm comfortable
Yeah.
charging you for it.
Absolutely.
Right? Put it out to streaming. I can kind of guide you what you need to do to get it there if you don't know.
Hmm.
Put it out there, see what your audience thinks. If your audience eats it up and it does really well, I've been wrong before,
Yeah. I'll eat my
right?
words.
I'm human,
Hmm.
and I've seen songs go really big that I never would have guessed would have. So put it out to streaming. If it does really well, you can always put radio later,
Hmm.
right? You don't need to put it. Actually, it's better not to do it right at the same time. Give it a chance to breathe on the streaming networks, and then put it out to radio. What I don't recommend is putting it out to radio and then following a streaming, or don't do streaming at all.
Yeah.
For such a low rate, and I can't stress this enough, you take anything out of this, if you're going to spend money on making music, at least spend that 10 or 30 or 40 or $50. It's not going to cost you more than that,
Hmm.
to make sure that as many people as possible hear it. Right. And I got to come back. I always use the example of Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember the big public fight that she had with Spotify, and she pulled all her music because
Hmm.
guess where it's all back?
Right
It's
back.
all there now.
Yeah.
Right. Um, and I mean, and it's not to say that she wasn't wrong or that she wasn't right. She wasn't wrong. I mean, yeah, I mean, they could pay more, but there's like 200 plus some streaming networks around the world that this $50 releases to.
Hmm.
If you get 1,000 streams on each in, even a couple months, you're bringing in money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, the three that you'll see numbers from, for the most part, are Amazon, Apple, and Spotify. And I mean, let's put it this way: it's you get what you give.
Hmm.
For the most part, the more you promote it, the more you put into it, you're gonna get results. I mean, you'll see tangible results from, you know, uh, what you do on social media.
Hmm.
I mean, I have clients that, like, every day they're sharing their Spotify links and their streams are going through the roof. Um, you know, I mean, there's no, but the key thing is don't go into anything. And this is, I think, the key in life, not just music. Don't go into this with any thought that there's a guarantee. I can't guarantee anything. Nobody can. You hire a radio
No,
tracker,
yeah.
spend $3,000 on a radio tracker if that's in your budget. They can't guarantee that you're going to get played on the radio.
Mhm.
They can't, right? It doesn't
No,
matter how great they
yeah,
think the song
absolutely.
is. They can't guarantee anything. They have radio partners, and they'll put it out there, and they'll say, "Yeah, I mean, we'll definitely get you on a few stations."
Mhm.
But nobody's going to say, "I guarantee you're going to get X number of ads," right? And that because it's not feasible
No.
because there's no guarantees in this business.
Not a single one.
But that doesn't mean that you should get discouraged just because you're not seeing the result that you want.
Mhm.
You'd say, okay, you know what? I've beat this horse for 4 months. It's just not going where I want to go. Focus on the successes that you're having.
Yeah.
And then follow up.
Exactly.
Always follow up. That's the most, you're only as good as your follow up.
Mhm.
And I mean, you'll hear in the interview with Buck 20, they're doing the most impossible follow up right now. And it's any artist that's following up their first ever top 40 hit. That's the hardest song to release.
I can just imagine, like,
and not only the hardest song to release, it's probably the hardest song to pick. What do you follow that up with? Right?
Exactly.
So it's, but I mean, the follow up is the key. Don't let it discourage you. Don't quit.
Mhm.
Even if you only get 1,000 streams, you have to remember, like, just looking at, say, your Spotify alone.
Yeah.
There's so many networks. So you only see 3 numbers. You see Amazon, you see Spotify, and you see Apple. You can't see Tidal. I don't even know the names of all the other ones that are out there.
Deezer. There's like so many.
And you don't really see those numbers. So you don't know how your song is performing anywhere else. And then plus this international streaming, that unless you're checking every day, the sites that do list those numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, Radio Box does show some of it for some songs. But again, not all of them.
Nope.
And so, I mean, you can stress about numbers and get yourself major buildup of anxiety, or you just say, you know what, I'm confident in the product that I put out. And all right, it just didn't perform as well. There's no saying. I mean, I think it's Walter Scott James from the Indie Country Countdown once said to me, you know what, a song can peak long after it came out.
Yeah.
Right. So just because a song isn't doing well right now, there's no saying that, let's say you do another single or the single after that, and it goes huge. And you start getting added to Spotify playlists. Well, people are going to discover your back catalog.
Yeah, exactly.
That always happens. They're going to discover your back catalog, and your back catalog is going to get big. Right. I mean, you just don't know. Or, it gets picked up for syndication. You maybe end up on a, like a soundtrack, or in like Netflix picks up stuff like crazy.
Yeah.
For their TV shows, like The Ranch. I had a friend, a band that I know out of California, formerly out of California, they're Nashville now. And they had 2 songs end up on the Ranch.
That's awesome.
Over the course of their, or its run. So, I mean, and they were a highway find, and only their latest single, which just came out, I think 2 weeks ago, was their first single to get picked up by a Spotify curated playlist, and they were a highway find.
Oh, wow.
So, and that's an album and an EP later, and this is their second EP. So, if you're an emerging artist and you're listening to this, don't get discouraged if you're at the early stage in your game and you find that it's just not happening. If you're confident in your ability and your peers are telling you that you've got something good going on, I mean, if people are telling you don't quit your day job, then and your music's not going anywhere, maybe listen to what they're saying.
There's a difference between arrogance and just like encouragement.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because you're not doing anybody any favors if you're just appeasing them. But I mean, if you're even getting one radio station to say, yes, we're going to add your song, you're worth it. And obviously you're doing something right, and it's worth following it up with something else.
Absolutely.
And keep following it up. Build those connections, build on those connections. Like if you can build a connection with that radio programmer and become friends with them on Facebook, keep in touch with them. Because you know how it is in radio, people move their jobs
Absolutely.
all the time. The
Yep.
idea is that you want to make sure that you are on the same page with whoever replaces them.
Mhm.
But also just have that connection so that when your next song comes out, you know, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I remember we really liked that song." And of course, I mean, engage with your fans. If your song gets picked up by radio, I think it's a little harder on Sirius XM. I don't know how it works with requesting, if you can even request.
I don't know.
But I mean, terrestrial radio, the ones that you know,
Mhm.
have your fans request. Even on like stations like Country Thunder, you can go to that website
Yeah.
and request. Like, remember, I mean, I'm going to stress here again, especially with them, all that work that Dax was doing, it stopped because this weekly countdown, which is very simple. You go in, you put 2 names in, where they're from, the name of the song, done.
Yeah.
Um,
Takes about
and
5 seconds.
well, maybe a little bit more than 5 seconds, but it doesn't take very long.
I'm a very fast typer.
Yeah, it was probably in your cache.
Yeah. Click, click,
But
click,
the problem is that people weren't voting.
Yeah.
And so artists that had huge followings were getting like 3 votes.
I know, and that
And
made no sense to me either. It's because like when you the Canadian Indie Country Countdown, if we can compare them for a quick second, Canadian Indie Country Countdown, you have to do 7 songs. You can vote once, and that's it. For Country Thunder, you went in there, put the name, the song, the territory, the second name, second song, second territory for the other artist, hit submit.
yeah,
So and it seems as though that the CICC had ended up, like, it seems to be working a lot better than what Country Thunder did. And even for my fans too, I noticed that, where they would all have no problem coming into the Canadian Indie Country Countdown, picking 7 songs and hitting submit. But when it came down to writing those 2 songs and the 2
well,
territories,
you know, I think the feedback actually it's the first artist that I worked with that we actually got the feedback from was Chloe. Her fan base was saying, "Where's the list of songs to pick from?"
yeah,
Right. So it's
yeah,
indie country countdown. You at least get a list of what, like 500 songs that you could pick from.
yeah,
And you know, so I mean, you can go, like, I mean, I know some people that they do their homework, they go through, and if I don't give them 7 songs, they will go through and they'll like look up and listen to, if the title looks catchy, they'll go find the song and check it out.
yeah.
Um,
And also, I know that there's
but yeah,
people
I mean,
out there that'll click the first 6 songs in your song, or the last 6 songs in your song.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Or just
Yeah,
hit it
they'll
like
go
a
through,
roll
okay,
of
this is
dial
the
and just
artist
click,
that I have to
click.
vote for.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and if you have to do that, you have to do that, but at least you're voting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think people had a hard time with you can vote for anybody as a second song.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he opened that up. It used to be only indie artists, and he said you can vote for anybody. And so, but the people, they want to support the new artists. So that's why, I mean, but I also stopped doing it as regularly because there's voter fatigue. I mean, right now we've got, I mean, just to add to the voting every week, Searchlight's happening right now.
Yeah.
Till Thursday.
Boots and Hearts is going to be coming out shortly.
Saying, oh, you can vote once a day. Now you go in and you vote once. I went in to support a few of the artists. So I go, okay, I'm going to vote for them. I'm going to vote for crap. I can't vote anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you can only vote for 1 artist a day. I know, like,
so
300 artists in Searchlight right now.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the same.
Like,
I'm trying to like span
CBC
it all
Music
out for me.
It's like, I wanted to write to CBC Music. Can we make Searchlight 365 days of voting so I can vote for all of the artists I want to vote for once?
Yeah. No,
because there's too many of them. And so now, I mean, for those of you that are on this competition, I'm not voting anymore because I voted once. Well, no, because I can't. To me, I'm not going to be able to vote for all the artists in there that deserve my support right now because it ends on Thursday. That means I get to vote for 3 more artists. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Because I can't. I mean, I don't feel bad for the one that got my vote. I don't even remember who it is that I voted for first. I think it might have been, I don't remember. Might have been Susie, actually.
And it's probably
the first person I saw share it.
And that's exactly it.
I clicked on her link, vote, and then I was going through, I wonder who else is in here. Oh, Tattoos and Whiskey, I know them. Oh,
You
Chess
actually
Anthony's in
messaged
here.
me and you were like, "Are you the only person I don't know that's in search not in
Yeah,
Searchlight this year?"
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it was like basically the list of artists. For those of you who haven't gone to look at the lineup, just go look at the list of people you can vote for the Canadian Indie Country Countdown.
Yeah.
They're all on Searchlight. Every
Plus
single one of
every
them,
other
but him.
genre. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but yeah, so I mean, I can't. It's the same reason that I mean, for those of you who don't know, I only joined the CCMA. This is I just went going into my second year as a member. Reason being because I have such a well, the country music, the Canadian country music industry is such a family,
Mhm.
and I'm friends with all these people. I can't vote for one person and say you're my favorite because
Yeah.
you're not. You know, I can't. I have to check off all the boxes, and then I spoil my ballot.
Mhm.
Um, but no, I because I don't like having to go in and say, um, pick and eating meat. It just
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with that because they're all great. Um, and so yeah, with Searchlight, I can't. I mean, obviously, I think what we're narrowing it down now to the top 100
I think so.
is
Yeah.
what the
It's the next
next.
next
I
round
think
is
the
top
next group is
100.
going to be. So I don't know how that's. I don't know if it's the. I hope it's not the top 100 from each genre because then I'm going to be just as
Oh my
messed up as
goodness.
I
I
am now.
hope.
Um, but yeah, I mean, like, there's artists in there from every single genre that I
Yeah.
know. Um, and I can't vote for one person. I know it's from every computer, but I don't have time to go to every computer in my house and vote for all these people. It's
And
not
now
going to
that we
happen.
know that you also can build them.
Yeah, yes, I can. Um, but I mean, all these artists that are in there, they all know that they've got my support. Anything that I can ever do to help them in or out of Searchlight. Interesting. I know I had mentioned Play MPE. They are part of that contest actually with Searchlight this year. Part of the winning package. Actually, I think it's the top four all get a music release from Play MPE.
That is right. That is right. I remember that.
Which yeah, I think that's going to really uh, do a lot for that gaining recognition for Play MPE. Um, I mean, because even though they are about a decade old, they're still a newcomer in Canada, and um, you know, DMDS, the Digital Music Distribution Service, is the most known, and that's the one that all the artists draw to, and
Mhm.
uh, all the radio stations. It's all that's all they've known for the last number of years. Um, so I think it's important for not just radio but the artists to know that there are alternatives. Nothing against DMDS. I get music from DMDS all the time. Um, I think it's a great way to release music. I mean, it makes it so easy to go into one system,
Yeah.
pump in your song, and it automatically goes out to all these people. How you do it, I mean, they're different business models, right? I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure eventually Canadians are going to have to pay to use Play MPE to release to Canada too. Um, it's a business. You got to make
Yep.
money in a business, right? I just
Absolutely.
think right now that Play MPE is offering this free trial or whatever for releasing to Canada, and this is any genre. So I mean, if you have a country rock cross or a pop country cross or a pop adult contemporary like Courtney had, you can release it to those genres for free through Play
Mhm.
MPE, which is kind of cool, right? So um, now, I mean, I don't know the terms of the release that you would get from, I would imagine, probably North America, um, maybe international. I don't know
Through
for
Searchlight.
the
Yeah.
Play MP for the Searchlight. Um, but I mean, I think it's cool that that's there. I don't know if they've ever had a radio prize involved in that.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's good, and I think it's good that it gets out there. I can't say enough about this organization. They're great to work with. Uh, if anybody needs an introduction, they can just reach out to me, and I'd be happy to set it up. Um, and again, I mean, if you're listening to this and you're an artist and you're at that level right now where maybe you want to take it to that next step and you want to do a radio release and you want to have a tracker, but you just don't know who to pick, shoot me a message. I mean, I get releases from almost every major tracker in Canada,
Mhm.
um, and the States. And, you know, depending on what kind of release you want to do, where you want to release to, if you want to go to Australia, if you want to go to the States, if you want to just do Canada, however, just shoot me a message and I'd be happy to make some recommendations. Like I said, I'm not a tracker. I have no plans anytime in the near future to do that. If not me, talk to your peers. I mean, look and see what the others are doing and see what they recommend. Every artist works with somebody different. They're always sharing, the ones that are having success with trackers, they share it on social media. Like I said, sharing is caring, right? I mean,
right.
Whether it's somebody adding you to a playlist, whether it's a radio station adding you, if you can share that on social media, share it on social media. Because that, it's the same way with pitching a song to Spotify. You are promoting them you are supporting them and promoting them by promoting you.
Yeah.
Right. So, in promoting and kind of bragging a bit that, hey, my song's on this station or my song's on this playlist, you're also promoting that station, and they like that. And it goes a long way to, I guess your long-term relationship with that program director.
Well, sir, I mean, this has been absolutely incredible. I can't believe that.
I think it's going to have to be like a 3-part podcast.
I was just going to say, I'm like, I might have to cut this one into part 1, part 2, part 3. But I mean, there is a buttload of knowledge in this whole entire podcast. And like, we've only scratched the surface of questions that I want to ask you.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm going to have you back here, but you've mentioned it before. If you are an artist listening right now, where can they reach at you, Hendrik?
They can find me on social media, whether they go to the Soundtrack Entertainment Facebook page and send the page a message, whether they find me on Facebook and send me a message. My email's on our website, soundtrackentertainment.ca. You can message me on Instagram, message me on Twitter. Again, I'm on Instagram and Twitter as HENDRIK PAPE. Either that or the Soundtrack, any of those social medias, you can find me there. You could send a messenger pigeon. I don't know how to read smoke signals quite yet. But
getting close to Morse code, but
you can reach out to Tim through his contact info for the podcast and say, hey, Tim, how do I get a hold of Hendrik? I got some questions for him.
I will give you his personal phone number.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine. I mean, shoot me a text message. I have absolutely no problem with that. I mean, I do work a day job, so sometimes it could take me a bit to get back to you. But like I said, follow up because I get tons of emails. I don't want to miss anything. Facebook messages is probably, or even Instagram, even Twitter. I get all of those probably faster than emails. So by all means, any method you can, if you have questions, shoot them over. Answers are always free. If I can point you in the right direction or something, I'm always happy to do that. I'm here to help. I'm by far not an expert. If you need help to find an expert, I can find you one and I can send you in the right direction too. If you need advice on songwriting or music, don't come to me because I'm not the expert on that.
But you probably still know somebody that does.
You probably do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Hendrik, as you know, my man, you are a godsend to me. I have absolutely nothing but the utmost respect for you and everything that you have helped me personally accomplish and musically accomplish. So if you are an artist listening right now, I highly recommend at least having a sit down chat with Hendrik. He is absolutely incredible, as you've heard on this podcast. So again, Hendrik, thank you so much for coming onto this podcast because I knew I wanted you on here.
So Tim, seeing as this is going to be coming out, hopefully after, I'm planning on after the big announcement, why don't we put it out there? The SCE 10th anniversary extravaganza, which as of the time we're recording has not yet been announced, but it is coming. July 23rd and 24th at Happy Green Acres, just outside of Brockville. Tickets to be determined. It's going to be determined on when this
absolutely
lockdown
beautiful
ends.
Venue.
So of course, our buddy Tim Albertson will be there on the 24th. I'm not going to give away the whole lineup because it's it's not to go to our social media and see it.
So good though.
But I can tell you that Susie Corey and Mackenzie Lee Mayer will be there on the Friday night. We've got an all-female Friday and a rockin' Saturday with Josh Norad and Brian John Harwood headlining. And of course, Tim's going to be in there as well as others. So it's going to be a great weekend. Right in the Thousand Islands. Hopefully the weather's going to be good. If not, that's okay because it's
bring your rain
covered.
suits. We're going to get muddy.
So it's not really indoors, but you'll stay dry, which is great. But we'll have all the details on our social media. Just go check it out anywhere. I'm sure Tim will be sharing it as soon as we publish it too.
Yes.
Second,
it is confirmed.
Yeah, well, it's confirmed. It's just now a matter of tickets will be going on sale. Hopefully early June, first week of June. But we'll have all those details as soon as this lockdown is over and we know the specifics of what we'll be able to do in July.
Live music's coming back.
But yeah, it's not a drive-in. It is a live show. It will be, of course,
in the
meeting
flesh.
It will be meeting all the important health guidelines, I guess you can call it, to make sure that it's safe. We don't want anybody to get sick. So of course, whatever guidelines we need to follow to keep it that way, then we will. And we just want to make sure everybody has a good time. And, we celebrate 10 years of this mind-boggling organization that still blows my mind that we've made it this far.
Well, congratulations on 10 years, Hendrik. And I have no doubt that we will be having another 10-year celebration in the coming years.
10 years?
Yeah, in about 10. Maybe 9.5.
That, eh?
Maybe.
Yeah, the 20 years, that would be, I'm, if we get there, pinch me. I mean, okay, I'll be almost 60 by then. So, I mean, it might be a joint,
but pinch me nonetheless.
Yeah, it might be a joint 20th anniversary celebration and retirement party at the same time. So, I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, let's see how the next 10 go. But you know what? I hope we're here for another 10. I know what we've accomplished in the last 10, and I can't wait to see what's coming down the road. Just more magic, and it's really all up to you guys, right? I mean, because if it wouldn't be without those of you making the music, there would be nothing to talk about. So keep making it, keep reaching for the stars. And, we'll always be here to support. And I'm hoping in 10 years, I mean, I've got a 13-year-old that I've gotten involved in it. And I would love nothing more is that in 10 years, he's more or less in my place.
Passing down the torch. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I mean, my long-term goal is I just want to see it continue. I don't want to see, or even in some way, shape or form, I want to make sure that artists 10 years from now, 20 years from now, get the same level of support that we can offer them now, ongoing. So
absolutely.
Even if they're holograms.
Hey, whatever we have to do, we'll make it work. Well, thank you again, Hendrik, for coming on to the podcast. It has been absolutely incredible. You take care of yourself, sir, and I will see you very, very soon.
Sounds like a plan, buddy. Thanks, Tim.
Perfect. Thank you. Hey guys, Tim Albertson here, host of the Canadian Country Music Podcast. And if you like this episode, we got plenty more. Come check us out. Just search the Canadian Country Music Podcast on all major streaming podcast platforms. And I will see you guys there. What do you think, Trace? Trace seems excited. You should be too, guys. Take care. Mwah!